Hey, this is Hire, and in this tutorial, we are going to go over how to add additional levels and a title screen to make your game look a little more official. So, with your game, you have layouts. We've been working in level 1 layout, but this isn't the only layout that you can have. You can have really as many as you want. So, let's make a new layout for our title screen. So, I'm going to add a layout. We only need the layout. We don't need to add a new event sheet because we can just use the code from event sheet 1. The only time you might add a new event sheet is if you have like a totally new style layout, like let's say you're going from platforming into a boss fight. Then you might want an event sheet for the boss fight. But even then, it's probably just as easy to add the boss fight code into event sheet 1. So we're going to add the layout only. This is going to be our title screen. So we want the name of our game, a start button, and maybe some credits. I'm going to use what are called like filler sprites and filler background. So this isn't what my actual title screen would look like, but I kind of want to just give you an idea. So up here, when we add the layout, we need to change its name to title screen. It's going to take out, and then we'll add event sheet 1. It doesn't like having spaces in the name, so we'll go to title screen. Actually, it doesn't seem to care. So title screen. We have it connected to event sheet 1. Everything inside the title screen needs to be in these oh my goodness, I can't think of the word, inside of this gray dashed line here. So everything we want on the title screen needs to stay inside of this box. So I am going to drag in the background just to make it look nice. Then I'm going to add some text with the name of my game. So we'll call this, let's say the game, I'm just going to title it Test Game. Please name yours something better. Let's go up to like 30 font. Honestly, we could probably go bigger. I'm going to make this the same size as the layout, or as my viewport, so that way I can have it center and center, so that way I don't have to try to center the box. It centers itself. I'm going to keep going bigger. Let's double the size to 60. Okay, that looks pretty good. I am going to change the font. There's lots of ways you can do this. You don't have to do this as a text box. You could have your fancy, you could make just a screen yourself on another program, maybe using Piskel or Chrome Canvas or some other art program. The only thing you do want to have is buttons. So I'm going to add a player here just to show. Let's go double 48 doubles to 96 by 96. Make it nice and big just for cuteness. We will uncheck enabled here and scroll to, so it'll just sit there when I hit play, looking real cute. We're just adding decoration, making it look how we want. And then the big thing on this will be to add buttons. So let's start by adding a sprite for our first button. You can add, they have a button type. You can't change the way it looks. I don't love the button. I don't think it looks very pretty. So instead, I'm going to just make a sprite. And I'm going to paint it a color, I don't know, I have this yellow saved, so I guess I'll just use the yellow for now. I am going to fill the paint bucket. And then we'll just make it the size we want. Like, this is all, you get a ton of freedom here. You get to make this look however you want. Only thing I am going to do is I'm going to change this. Remember, I'm holding down control to make copies. I'm going to have play. here. I am going to shrink this way down so that way it doesn't take up too much of the screen, because that just makes it hard to click. Then we'll control and hold. We'll do credits here. Let's make that just a little smaller, 55, just so it fits in a little better. All right, so we have our name of our game, we have our little character, we have a play button, we have a credits button. When we hit play, this will be what shows up first. We can make sure that this is the screen that shows up first by setting this as our default layout as well. So up here on test project, if we click on its name, we can change the first layout to be the title screen. So it always goes to the title screen first. Now we need to click the add, we need to make it so that when we click on the play button, it goes to the start of the game. So we're first going to add input. We want to add input from the mouse. So that way we can click on things. Under Event Sheet 1, I am going to shrink these guys down. And I'm going to add a new group. I'm just going to call title screen for my own purposes. We will say when I click on the sprite, I just got to find mouse. Oh, sorry, we want to go to the mouse. And we'll say on object clicked, sprite. Let's rename this as button, just so we know it is. So when we click on the button, and this is where we get to use a little bit of our and. Let's check the location of this first box. Its position is 248, 364. So in here, we're going to add another condition that says the button is at 248. So we're going to compare the x when x is equal to 248. So that means when we click on the first button, not the second button, when we click on the first button, we are just going to go to, we're going to go under System and have it go to Layout, Level 1. So when we hit play, we should be able to click on that box and go to Level 1. The bigger your game gets, the longer it can take to load. And here we are into Level 1. And we've already got our enemies shooting and our other enemy patrolling. You have to watch out because those spikes will hit you. Now, same idea for the credits. We're just going to figure out this box is at 618. So we will say when x equals 618. Then instead of going to the next layout, maybe you want to make, the way I've seen this done before is just have a sprite that you created on another site or something. You don't have to have a credits. The only thing you need to have is a play button. But in case you wanted to have credits, this is the way I would do it. You just have another sprite that I'll fill it with this color because I have that color saved as well, that has all of the text on it already. So you've made it on another site. So we'll pretend like this has, I'm going to just add some little scribbles in white. So this has like all the names and everything, anything you might want to add to your credits. We'll just put this down here. We'll say when this button is clicked, we will have this go to, we don't want to do 0, 0. We'll drag this to where we want it to go when we click on the credit button. So 435, 236. And now when we click on the credit button, it will get the credits to pop up. To get them to close, we could add one more button that just says close. That shows up at the same time. And that's how you can make credits. Oh, that's going to be in the middle of the screen. We want to drag this out of the way. And we just, yeah. So clicking play takes us into the game. Clicking credits pulls up the credits. And then we can set, you know what would be a really easy way to do this? Just do system mouse on any click and add another condition. Okay, we'll just say on any click, we will take the sprite back down to 400, 729. We'll see if this works. Not sure if this is going to work because it might overlap with the credit click. There you go. And now you can play. Beautiful. So that's how you make a title screen. Now let's set it up so that when we get to the end of the level, we have our key. We can go to the next level. So we're going to add a sprite over here. I want to add a door sprite. So we're going to go to sprites just like we have in the past. Make a new sprite that's a door. I have a sprite that I like. Use whatever you want. This is a cool place. You guys could custom make your own sprites at this point using a website like Piskel or any other editor to make things look exactly the way you want them to. So let's see. I'm going to use this door. It's kind of a goofy looking door because it's partially cut off, but it'll do the job. I want it on layer 0. I am going to set it, I want it to be double that size. Cool. We're just going to put it kind of like here. So it almost looks like it's built into the, I want it to be built into the wall looking. So let's edit the tile map a little bit. So bring the tile map out one more. Down, grab this guy. Grab this guy. And finally, there. Okay. And then we'll grab our door. Kind of pop it into there. In fact, if we wanted, we could even use part of the door here. Oh, that's going to give us a weird look. Nope. So that's what we'll do is we'll just kind of pop the door in right there so we can run into it. Looks goofy. Make your door look better than mine. But we want to just say on collision. So player code will say on collision with when our player collides with the door, which we didn't name, but we should name. I'm going to take a second and be responsible. So on collision with the door, and we have the key. Add another condition. The HUD key is visible. Then we are going to go to a new layout, but we don't have the new layout made, so we actually have to make it real quick. Right click on layout, hit add layout. We only want the layout. We will call this one level 2. And we want it connected to event sheet 1. So now in our code, we're going to say when we collide with that door, we will go to the next layout. And that lets us use it over and over and over again in each level. So let's add a little bit on level 2. There's lots of things you want to throw in on here. Anything that you want repeated from level 1, like if you want to use the same colored background, bring that in. I'm going to use a new background for this level to make it more clear we're on a new level. You want to bring in the tile map. You want to bring in your player character even. You want to bring in any enemies. I'm going to use the blue background for this one. So we've got the blue background here. I'm going to expand that. I'm going to bring in my tile map, which interestingly enough brings everything that I've already made. I don't want that though, so I am going to highlight this whole thing. I'm going to grab erase. Come on. Highlight, erase. It should be giving me a stamp. Okay. It worked last time. Let's try again. Oh my goodness. Redo. Okay. So on here, we're going to go to highlight. We highlight the whole thing. We're going to go to draw. So you see we can move up and down this way. And when we come here, we should get a big stamp. There we go. It just needed me to do that extra step. So now I can, I'm going to do icy because it's cold here. I'm going to add a nice little landing zone for me. Oh, did I grab the wrong one? I did. I needed this one. I didn't want that bottom level, or the bottom purpley color, or bluish color. I know what colors are. All right. And I'll go in and kind of make a little mini map here. You'll go through and add lots of other things. I do want my player to come onto this level, so I'm going to put them where I want them to start. Let's see, for my tile map, let's add just a small area for an enemy to rotate on. Oh, man. I always forget to use the square feature because that makes it so much easier. Using the square here. Drag this down. Just trying to make it look nice and neat really fast. Did that wrong. There we go. I'm going to add in a little bit of decor. I will make those so that they are not collidable, so I can just walk right through them. And maybe, yeah, that looks good. So now that I have this set up, my little character can start on this game. I can add in more coins over here by dragging out, same way I did on the previous level. I can hold control to make copies. Up here, I am going to add a little, let's add a blue enemy up here. Just make sure it's touching the ground so it looks good. And then maybe right as you land, there's a little patrolling red enemy. Make it extra dangerous. Just make sure it stays on the... Okay. So now let's go to the title screen and test the whole thing. So with my game, I can hit credits, close my credits. I can hit play, start my game, jump across. I just have to avoid this guy. I have to get my blue guy down. And it took me to the wrong layout. We got to change the order here. That's a problem. Make sure your order is in the correct, so title screen, level 1, level 2. Make sure they're in the right order, or else the next one was title screen. So it did do the right thing technically, just not the thing I wanted it to do. It's important to make these little mistakes sometimes because it really helps you understand the way, oh my goodness, and immediately died. It helps you understand what is really happening in Construct instead of just being able to. And now we're on a second level. We have to be careful. So that's how you make a title screen and an X layout, though you'll notice my HUD disappeared. Now, earlier we were talking about how we made the HUD a global layer. This is where that's going to come in handy. We're going to add a layer at the top and we will call it HUD, exactly the same as we did before, capital HUD. If it's not capital, it won't work. But by naming it exactly the same, it's a global variable, so it pulls everything in for me. Makes my life a million times easier. And that's how you add extra levels. You can keep going like that. You can add a door. You can have the key drop in this level. At some point, you might want to add a shop, which is what the next tutorial will be about. So that way you can get different abilities. But there you go. So that is all for this tutorial. That's how you make additional levels. In the next one, we are going to be talking about how to make a shop. So I'll see you there. Don't forget to save.